Hi there, everyone. Today we're going to be doing the first sin for spring. Gonna be covering up this face. Anyway, first of all, we're going to wipe off any debris with some baby wipes. I prefer to use like pure, like no fragrance baby wipes because I've got quite sensitive skin. But obviously, use what you're used to using. Not that I'm telling you to wipe the stuff off your face, but it does help. Anyway, now I'm just going to pick up my brush and a headband and pull my hair back. You know, don't want to have it in the way while we're like doing crap to our face. I'm gonna have to apologise for how long it's taken to get this video up. It has taken a while for me to get some time where the volume in the background isn't too bad. Anyway, now we're putting on some moisturiser. I'm using the mattifying Murad oil neutralizer SPF, like salicylic acid thing. Next thing that I'm using is the Fashionista Vanishing Cream Skin Primer. It tends to refine my pores, and anyway, I'm going to speed up this process in a minute. Looks a bit like skin, which is really strange. Anyway, I'm just going to lay the primer all over my skin. It does tend to mattify, which where I have quite oily skin, it's a sort of thing that I like to have, and also it's really soft. Next, I'm going to use the Rimmel Stay Matte Foundation in Light Porcelain. This is the same one that I reviewed on a previous video. I'm going to use a stippling brush, well, it's like a kabuki brush, and just stipple that foundation all over my skin. Same as a normal routine, nothing different, but we just want like a plain base to work with. And where I have loads of freckles, it's just evening out my skin tone a bit. I do look a little bit dead. Anyway, moving on, just going to put it in the ears as well, and down my neck to make sure everything's even. Next, we're going to take a powder brush and use this Vivo mattifying loose powder. It's a translucent powder just to set everything and keep it all in place and take away any of that shine from the liquid. Yeah, I am using it quite heavily, admittedly. I can even see the powder on the video. But yeah, everyone has their own preferences, and I do prefer to be quite matte. Got to make sure that I take the stuff off of my piercings, and now I'm just using an Avon basic eye primer to make sure that it makes everything around my eyes a bit more pigmented. I'm using my Dirty Works Plumpy Lip Plumper Lip Balm. It smells really nice. It's like a Terry's chocolate orange. I'm putting that on at the start, pretty much, just so that way my lips are nice and smooth by the time I head right at the end to do the last bit and my lips. Now I'm using my Fashionista like spray setting powder spray. Yeah. Now I'm using my contour palette. It's just a basic BH Cosmetics one, using the highlighter on the bridge of my nose and right at the top of my cheeks. Yeah, I've sped this up a bit faster than I'd like. Also, we're using like a really dark area to contour under like the hollows of my jawline and hollows of my cheekbones, not jawline, and up at the top of my like head, forehead, hairline area. If you want to be a bit more drastic, you can also do underneath your jawline. Like, so with this look, we're wanting to do it quite dominantly, like quite dark. I'm using a small kabuki brush to blend it all out, because I don't want any harsh lines. You might want it to look harsh, but lines are no No, we don't want that. Now I'm using a little fluffy brush just to contour my nose, to make it look a bit more sunken in, and really going into the hollows of my eyes to make them look more set back. Don't worry too much about the eyebrows, we'll be doing those in a bit, but just trying to make my eyes look a lot more like dead, I think is the best way to put it. Now I'm using my Vivo Ultimate Brow Kit. I've had it for a while, so it is a bit grubby. I apologise for that. I'm using a little brow brush that comes with it, and I'm going to use the darkest shade that comes with that, and I am going to make those brows really drastic, really sharp edged, and extend them a bit. We want them to look not quite caveman-esque, but very not quite neat either. Very, I don't know how to describe it, but yeah, just dark, very arched. I'm also going to go in with a little bit of the lighter shade just to like highlight underneath my brow, and I'm also getting just a normal eyeshadow sort of sponge and erasing a line on one of my brows to make it look like I have a scar, and I'm moving the hair out of the way. Also, I'm getting a eyebrow gel just to set it all in place and to make sure that that scar line stays set. I'm also making sure that the rest of my eyebrows are set and blended in quite well. This comes with the Vivo set, which is quite nice. Now I'm using one of my MUA palettes. I couldn't actually see what name this one was, but just need to use like a deep red. I'm using a eyebrow brush to make like a scar that goes down my face. With this look being wrath, I thought of something more like a fight, more vengeance, kind of like Braveheart mixed with Kill Bill, mixed with you've been in a fight down a pub. Now I'm using a purple, I kind of deeper than the lilac, but just to deepen the colour on the side of that cut that we're making, because otherwise it just looks like we have a red line. Just touching up my eyebrows at the same time, because I decided against having two scars, but you can have one or two. Now I'm using an angle eyeshadow brush, and I'm getting a neutral colour from the same palette just to put as a base on my eyes to just outline for myself, so I can get an idea of where I want to put certain things, and also highlighting underneath my eyebrows to make them look more dominant, and also doing that to the top of my cupid's bow, just straightening out everywhere else, highlighting where I want to highlight. Now I'm using my Manly palette. It's a cheap palette off of eBay my mum got for me, but it's got a lot of very highly pigmented eyeshadows, both shimmer and matte. You can get quite a lot of nice ones on Amazon, like BH Cosmetics, etc., Jazuli, just to name a few. I've had this for quite a while now. It's one of my favourite palettes, even though it's quite cheap. I'm using a matte purple. It's not showing up quite well on here, but we want to make it look like we've got a bruise, so no, don't worry about being neat. And then I'm using a neutral colour, but slightly darker than my skin tone, to make it look like we've got some of the bruise as kind of like healed a little bit, and a little bit of blue in selected areas, and then blend it all out so in that way it looks properly done. Make sure to re-highlight your cut, because if you've done it on the same eye as me, it's gonna end up blending some of that out. I've used the red again, but I've wet the brush a bit to make the red a bit more pigmented. And I've done the same. Now I'm starting to do the same technique on my lip. I'm just doing a thin line of red just to outline where I want it. Now I'm doing the bruise, same technique as we've done before, and then I will be going back in a minute after blending it out, and then highlighting that cut properly, because we all look like we've been in a fight. I got some of my techniques off of Kat's sketch on one of her past tutorials, but I also got the inspiration for this entire series off of another YouTuber, who I'll link below. I'm using MUA lip liners, 2 different shades of red. One's Red Drama and the other one's Brooding Plum. They're intense lip liners. They're really nice, well pigmented. We want to use the lighter one first, and we're using that to highlight one side of the cut, and then we use a darker side to depthen it on the other side. If you want to blend it out a bit, you can use the same eyebrow brush that we used before. It does take a bit of practice, as I'm literally not going by any plan. Both the voiceover and the makeup, I'm just doing as I feel, just to get a feel for this series. Now I'm using Calvin Klein, and it's in Vinyl Indigo, which is a nice pigmented black. I apologise for what's happened to my camera. I don't know why it's like this. I'm just using a basic eyeshadow brush, and I am putting this on the other eye to just outline and use almost like a primer. I am putting it on my waterline, and I'm tight lining, and this is just blending it out. You want it to look really dirty, no like neat lines. Obviously don't hurt yourself and pull your face apart while you're blending, but it was using this more as a primer and a guideline for the other colours that we want to use. If you've seen the pictures on Facebook and Twitter already, you know what colours and what this is going to look like properly. Now I'm just getting a nice fluffy brush, similar to what we used before. I'm using a nice deep black. This is actually my Britain's Next Top Model palette that I've got from MUA. That's £7 at the moment. All the colours in that palette are really pigmented, and we're using black closer to the eye and then blending that out. I'm actually adding some black in with some of the contouring that I've done to depthen it, make it look a bit more dirty. Now we're using a nice sort of almost metallic purple. We want it to have a slight shine, almost like a bruise, but not quite. Now I'm using like a burgundy at either end, because I see red being quite a prominent colour with Wrath. You can add any other markings that you want. I'm just blending them all out with that same little brush, and I apologise for the image of my husband in the background. I didn't quite think through having a mirror in the background. Now we're going back in with that lip liner and going to just add red on the inside of the waterline, because we want to look like we're bloodshot and whatnot. We don't want to be looking perfect as such. We want to look like we've been out all night fighting with goodness knows what, wherever. I'm also putting a bit more near my tear duct, and I'm also putting a little bit on the top of my eyeline, but nothing quite that drastic. It's my personal preference. Again, everyone's different. This is how I interpret wrath, not how everyone may interpret it. I'm now putting some on the inside of my lips, just to kind of, like I might have had some blood dry up on the inside of my mouth, and now I decided I wanted a few more cuts, like a cat scratch across my face. I just used the lighter colour to outline where I wanted it, but I'm lightly dragging it, like as if it's leaving the proper marks behind. I'm finding it hard to describe this. This is my first video like this, and I admit it's not brilliant, but with practice makes perfect. Now I'm going back in with that red that we used beforehand and just pigmenting certain bits of that cut, because certain bits obviously are going to be a bit more prominent than others. I'm also using a bit of that purple underneath, and as you can see, one bit was a bit too much, and I'm trying to blend it out as much as I can, but yeah, I ended up pretending it was bruising, but it wasn't. It was a mistake. I'll let you in on that little secret. Right, we're going in with some more of that red. And as I said, it can be any red that you've got. It doesn't have to be the same brands that I'm using. But for everyone, it's different. We all have different budgets. My budget isn't particularly brilliant. That's why I'm using MUA, because they're a very highly pigmented makeup and really respectable prices. My next tutorials I will be using proper face painting products, but I had actually run out before I was recording this, and that I'm not blaming what I was using, but I didn't really plan this out as well as I had hoped. But if you stick by me, this series should be alright. Right, we're just going to be going in with some more red up at the central cut. Just lengthen it out over where we did the eyeshadow prior. I'm now getting one of my basic black lipsticks. You can get them from like the pound shop, normally around Halloween time. And I'm getting one of my pen liner brushes and just using that because I get a sturdier sort of line with that. And we're going to make ourselves look almost like the Joker. I'm going in first at the corner of my lips and then going around at the base and also my cupid's bow, and I'm just going to blend that out a bit, and I'm trying to make it look like we've had nice lipstick on, but it's been smeared and we've basically just gone through the wars and we haven't really taken care of a single thing. I'm just going to add some more of that black in and blend that in. I like to leave like the central bit with that red that we put in prior, just blending it out. Admittedly, I drew these lines and I kind of felt I looked like the Joker, so at a later time you'll notice I will just blend that out and use those lines as what we like guides of smudging, because if we've been in fights or we've like cut our lip or whatnot, you're going to be wiping that blood away, so what happens, you're going to just use your hand and swipe across, and I ended up just doing that in the end. We got some red eyeshadow and put that in like nostril, and then blended that around, kind of like dried blood. And you probably can't see this properly because something really has gone wrong with my camera here. I was going in with some of the neutral colour again, just to highlight certain bits. And now I'm going in with my Galaxy Glam Collection Magenta Moon Too Faced eyeshadow. It has this kind of almost like what I call like a bruise colour, like a purpley plum colour. And once it's all blended through, so I use that on top of some of the bruise that I did and blended that out. I felt it just gave like some dimension to the pigments. Now going in with mascara, I'm using my Max Factor. It's one specially made for women with green eyes, or men, whoever with green eyes. Has a nice rubber like bristle at the end. Just gonna slowly go through with that, bring all my lashes up, both up, top and bottom lashes. Now we're gonna go in with my Too Faced Better Than Sex mascara, which has quite a curvy, bristled sort of look. It does make your lashes look a little bit clumpy if you're not careful, but with the look that we're going for, I felt it was the most appropriate mascara to use. But if it's used nicely, it does go on really nice. It does like lengthen and whatnot, but as you can see, certain bits are clumping. Now I'm going in with my favourite all-time mascara, and that's the Mega Lash by Avon. It has this like weird handle, and the brush, if you look at it, it's like the shape of your eye, kind of like the roundedness, bristles both on the front and the back, and just like a paintbrush, paint that on. And I've noticed it helps tight line and just lengthen, but make sure that there's not too many clumps going on. And just do any sort of like extras that you want to do. Regarding hair, again, everyone is different. I felt backcombing was the best option, because obviously if we've been dragged through a bush backwards, then what's going to happen? We're not going to have hair that's been styled by the gods, are we? Don't know where that came from. But anyway, this is the final look. And yeah, this is how I interpreted Wrath. I hope you enjoyed this kind of shambles of a video. Sorry that it took so long, and I couldn't help but laugh at myself, trying to be serious and creepy, and I kind of scared myself then. So yeah, most of the products I used were MUA. Used a couple of Too Faced items, but anyway, just using baby wipes and Avon makeup remover just to get rid of it. It wasn't too bad, but as usual, mascara is always a pain to get off. I hope to speak to you all soon. I've got quite a lot planned, and hopefully a lot better quality than this video here. If you like sort of like fantasy makeup and that, also check out Kat Sketch. She does a lot of stuff like this, and also like Pink Stylist Pinky Stylist, whatever. And anyway, don't forget to find us on Facebook under the same name, Gamer Geek Chic UK, and also Instagram under the same name. Twitter's still Ebony MU. Thinking I might change that at some point. But yeah, if you like to see more, please subscribe, comment below, as anything would come handy regarding criticism. And yeah, I don't really think there's much more I can say than that. I'd like to see your interpretations. That'd always be great. And please like the video. And yeah, see you soon. Bye.